everybody, this is Star Delta 9. I am coming at you from the kitchen this morning. I'm going to be restocking the elderberry syrup for my house and doing a batch for a customer. So I wanted to bring you guys along and show you how I make this so that you could try this at home to help protect your family from any flu, virus, or autoimmune whatever's going around with this Navis Virus. All these infections that are strain resistant to any antibiotics that we take, we certainly have to take our medical care in our own hands and become our own advocate. So I want to talk to you guys about how I make the syrup, give you some dosing, give you some side effects, give you some precautions. I don't want to scare anybody away. If you have a ragweed allergy, maybe test any of the herbs I'm talking about prior to using them in very small doses. If you know you have one, don't use them. Maybe you can find a substitute for them. So we'll talk about, I'm using 5 of the herbs, natural herbs that I either pick myself, get the roots, grind the ginger down. The only thing I didn't do this year was the astragalus and the cloves. So let's talk about this, okay? Things that you're going to need is going to be elderberries, astragalus, ginger, ashawanda, cloves. I source local honey from Arroyo Grande here on the Central Coast. I use raw honey. You can use regular honey if you choose. And I use an evaporated cane juice sugar that's all organic. And the reason I use it is because it acts as a preservative. So elderberry syrup can be used as a preventative measure to get you out of sickness if you have, let's say, me. I worked in the medical field for 40 years, so prior to going into the unit, I would take the elderberry syrup as a preventative, and if I ever caught anything, then I could use it as a help me to get better, right? So the dosage would be a 1 to 2 teaspoon once a day preventative, and if you get sick, then you can do 1 to 3 tablespoons about every 3 to 4 hours until your symptoms subside. The shelf life of this is going to be about 3 to 6 months, longer if you keep it in the refrigerator. I like mine thick, so I have no problem keeping it in the refrigerator. So let's talk about these, shall we? This is elderberry root. This is a perennial growth. You use the berries and the flowers. They actually support immune health, flu, GI issues. They are antiviral. The one thing I want to caution you about elderberries, if you make this syrup, elderberries have a hard shell to the seeds, and those seeds need to be broken down in the boiling process, the heat process, to release the compound that's held within that shell. Because the compound that's held within that shell can be poisonous and cause a GI upset. So I don't want to scare you away. Just be sure you boil this process down a minimum of 30 minutes, okay? You will harvest usually the berries when they're really, really deep purple, almost black. So if you can find a local farm somewhere that's growing elderberry, it's really great to go and do that. This, I think, is the powerhouse, the astragalus root. This is also immune support. It's an adaptogen. It adapts to stress. So it works as a antibacterial, antiviral, lowers our white blood count. It will lower inflammatory processes, lower cortisol levels, protect our heart, right? You harvest this and you use the root. The problem with that, though, is it takes 3 to 4 years for this to grow before the root has matured enough for you to use it as a medicinal benefit. So try to get that from a local distributor you trust. The other one that I use is ginger. And the reason I use ginger is because it's an anti-inflammatory. It prevents and helps with rheumatoid arthritis, it's a diuretic, antipyretic, and antiemetic. And it has Zero side effects. The only thing I would precaution you on is maybe stop taking this if you're doing an elective surgery, maybe 3 or 4 days, and ask your physician. Always run all this by your physician. Don't just take my word for it, right? Another one I like to add is the ashawanda root. And the reason I use the ashawanda root is because it's also an adaptogen. It's an astringent. It helps with hypertension. It's a diuretic, antispasmodic. It's been known to help with sedative effects for people who have PTSD, chronic fatigue syndrome, exhaustion, anxiety, and depression. I mean, the list on ashawanda go on and on and on. And then last but not least, I'm going to be using cloves because cloves contain manganese. And manganese is essential to maintain brain function and bone function. So we're going to put all this together in the stock pot, and I'll tell you how to make it. I already put 1 quart of distilled water. I'm going to add 100 grams of black elderberries. I'm going to add 20 grams of dried astragalus root. I'm going to add 15 grams of dried ginger. I'm going to add 8 grams of cloves. And I'm going to add 10 grams of ashawanda. And I'm just going to knock this down. Now what you're going to do is you're going to put this in your stock pot. Make sure you use distilled or boiled water so you don't get any bacteria. And turn your heat on. And you're going to let this boil, constantly stirring it for 20 minutes minimum, preferably 30 minutes. I'm going to probably do mine for an hour, as I said earlier. So once this gets boiling, and I'll show you guys what it looks like in the pot, I'll bring you back, okay? So get your herbs ready, get your stock pot ready, because all you're going to need after this is your honey and your pear juice, baby. Well, the elderberry syrup is looking mighty fine. I put all my product in and I let it come to a full boil. I turned that down to a medium, low heat. And I'm going to let this steep, see the fumes coming up, until this reduces till about half of what I put in here altogether. That might take maybe, 20, 30 minutes. But because of the batch I'm doing, it'll probably be an hour. And then we'll add our sugar and our honey. We'll strain it, take it off, add our sugar and our honey. And I'll show you how to do that. Exciting. Your whole house should smell amazing. Once it's on the steeping like this, just stir frequently. Just stir frequently. Open your door, window, let your neighbors smell this beautiful. See, the spoon is changing colors. You can tell the elderberry root is activated. I've actually broken all those husks of the shell. The compound is amazingly gone. Awesome stuff, baby. Awesome. Just preparing my sugars and my honey. Make sure you get a nice glass bottle so you can store it in the refrigerator when you're done. Just keep stirring. Remember, you want to break the hull of that elderberry down, right? Okay, guys, welcome back. I have let my elderberry syrup cool down. Although debated by many mead makers, boiling, right? The must need or must know or option to do or not do. Common sense tells me that if you, as a mead maker of honey, use 0 to 70 Fahrenheit when you're keeping your honey, then I'm going to let my elderberry syrup cool down all the way to 70 degrees. Then I'm going to add my honey so I don't lose any of the medicinal properties of the honey, right? I mean, definitely there are plenty of honeys out there, and I don't believe every honey is equal, you know? So do the research, but I would let it cool down to about 70 degrees. Then add your honey. Stir so that it's incorporated so you don't see any in the bottom or feel any on your spoon. And my friends, that is how simple it is to make elderberry syrup. One of the most must-haves in my house. Let's see. I'll leave about an inch headspace. Maybe, yeah, that's perfect. Oh, it smells heavenly. I'm going to slide that back. I have another ball jar here. I keep mine in ball jars that I have sterilized, boiled, and cleaned. I marked my labels. The one is already on it already, and this one I will write and place it on. This won't last very long because I do 1 to 2 teaspoons a day for preventative. If I get sick, then I do 1 to 3 tablespoons about every 4 hours until my symptoms subside. As always, please check with your doctor. Don't just do something because someone leaves a recipe or asks you to do it. Do your research. Let your fingers do the walking, baby. Find out what you're doing. Get yourself a thermometer, a gauge, a gun. I use it for soaping. And they ask me all the time, what do I do with all the herbs that you've just cooked down and made this lovely syrup with? Can I use it again? The answer is no. But your chickens or your livestock, or you can take it outside and give it to the birds. They love it. Or you can make yourself a tiny tea. It's not going to have a lot of medicinal benefits right now. And then the rest, give it to wildlife and return it to the earth, Mother Nature, Gaia, right? Sound off in the comment section below, you know. That is your section. Hit that thumbs up if you like this video. If you would like more content like this, please let me know. I'm studying to be some sort of master herbalist. I'm not sure which, or if that's even the correct term. So do me a solid. And if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing to my channel. I would love to have you here. If you are subscribed already, welcome back, and thank you so much for your support. It means so much to me. You guys humble me greatly. I do this for you and the collective. Namaste.